Crack the main stop.
Will do.
Ahoy there, if you're new to the channel, I'm Heidi and I live and work aboard my narrowboat home, the Rum Wench, with my little dog Bonny. Join us as we travel the UK's canals and rivers in search of treasure and adventure. Good morning, I've come to Sutton Weaver here on the River Weaver because things are going to get a little bit steamy. So this magnificent tug is called the Daniel Adamson, or the Danny, but was previously known between 1903 and 1936 as the Ralph Brocklebank. So I've just got aboard the Danny. I've got my nice shiny helmet. This is Graham, he's the chief engineer and he's going to show me now a little bit about the engines on this huge, wonderful tug. So our first stop is the engine room. Hello Ian.
Hiya, how are we doing?
Yeah, good.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Because it's a tug, it needs to be quite powerful on the water, so it's got two propellers. Two propellers needs two engines, so we've got a port and starboard engine, and the controls by these levers here. And as we go around, you'll see other little engines as well that do different jobs. These semaphore dials here are for the captain to send commands down to the engine room. Because we're a boat on the river, we've got to conserve as much water as possible. Can't release it up the funnel like a train steam engine would. We capture it back with these devices, which are called condensers. So they convert the exhaust steam back into water and pump it back into the boiler. So the water is really going round and round in a big circle. The boiler boils it, makes the steam, comes into the engines, hits the condensers, back to water, and just goes round and round. So we don't need to actually take on much water.
So it's very busy in this engine room this morning because they're getting the boat all ready for its voyage. So all the engineers are running around, lubricating everything, checking everything. But I tell you what, all this machinery, it's just a thing of beauty. And the one thing I can't get across on the camera is the heat and the smells. It's just, oh, it's lovely.
Just a little squirt.
So we're about now to go into the boiler room where it all happens. Yeah, that's why I've got wearing
That's
that.
the scale of the boiler, the big barrel full of water. And these are the three furnaces.
So it's warming up now.
That is warm. So it currently costs £400 a tonne to buy this Colombian coal. It's expensive that. And how much coal does it use on a trip?
Yeah, the trip that we're going to do today will probably use about £800 to £1,000 worth of coal.
So one of the main reasons that this is so expensive is, yes, coal's gone up, but also boilers have to be started days in advance because they need to be heated up very slowly.
We actually started a couple of days before. We'll initially have a couple of furnaces in to make it warm. The day before we cruise, we'll then bring 3 furnaces up and running. And then today we'll be in at 7:30 for 11 o'clock cruise.
You want to warm it up gradually because you don't want to create any thermal shocks.
To operate, we need to be around about 110 to 120 psi.
So it's all getting very exciting here at the moment because they're about to open the main steam valve.
Crack the main stop.
Will do.
So it's not going to be too long before the boilers are at temperature and they can fire up the engines, but whilst we're waiting, let's find out how they control them. So there's a few chief engineers on this boat today, and this one's called Daggers, and he's going to show me what these knobs do.
Control desk, if you split it down the middle, these 3 controls deal with the port engine, these 3 for the starboard engine. These levers next to us here control the steam going into the engine. The further forward you put them, the more steam goes in. And these 2 levers here operate the reversing gear for the head and the stern. When they're in this position towards me, we're in the astern position, and when they're in that position up there, that's when we're going ahead. They won't operate now because there's no steam on to get the things actuated, but that's what it is. It's as simple as that.
So now we know how to get the power on, let's go and see how they steer it. Wow, oh look at this. So Ian's currently sorting out all the power steering on this boat, so I'll get him to tell us a little bit about it in just a moment.
Essentially, it's the power steering for the boat. Very similar to the power steering you get in modern cars, but this is operated by steam. So you've got a very heavyweight rudder at the stern of the boat. So when we operate the wheel, pistons inside here move up and down, operate a gear mechanism here, and that operates a tumbler at the back which pulls and pushes the chain port to starboard. So if I go to the port now, that indicator there gives you an indication of where the rudder is. And we've got this brass cap here as another visual indication. So what we do, we test it, port to starboard. And you can see the drum there pulling and pushing the chain.
So that's the steering check done. So this is the coal bunker, and the guys down there at the moment is currently doing what's called trimming the coal, which is levelling it all out. Mucky job. So we're still waiting for those boilers to get to the right temperature before we can set off. So whilst we're waiting, I'm going to have a little chat with the rest of the crew. So this is Phil, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how the Danny got from where it was to where it is today.
I was working for the Manchester Ship Canal company until 1986. And then the Daniel Adamson was slowly getting put out of service. Then in 1989 she went down to Ellesmere Port Boat Museum, and she was there for the next 15 years. Dan Cross, who actually found out about it, after a couple of days negotiating with them, he managed to acquire it for £1. And ever since then, we come back. We took her into Salisbury Dock in Liverpool, been vandalised. So we managed to get all the rust done. We put in for a lottery grant and we got refused the first time. And then the second time we got the grant, away we went. Put her into Camel Airs, and 3 years later, the Queen of the Canal, as I used to call her when I worked on her, was alive and well. And as you see now, she's absolutely perfect, back to how she was when I left in 1986.
So I'm just going back down in the dirty dark hole because we're about to warm the engine up. So listen to the sound of these beauties. It's so rhythmic and relaxing in a way. Does that sound weird? So they're just doing all the engine checks now, and it's like clocks, like clockwork.
This is the circulating pump. So it's picking up seawater, or in this case river water. It's pumping it through this centrifugal pump here into this condenser. So it goes through tubes, so it's cooling the tubes. So when the steam from the engine hits the cold tube, the steam condenses, goes back into water and back into the boiler.
So I'll tell you what, it's dead warm down in that engine room, so I've had to take my jumper off. But now the passengers are all starting to arrive, and then we'll be setting sail. Is that the right word, sail? Setting steam? Well, anyway, things are going to get steamy. So I can't believe I'm on this steam powered tug, the Daniel Adamson. I've wanted to do this for so long, but you need to be on it to fully experience it, because not only have you got the sounds of the engine chugging and the birds tweeting and all the decor such as all the brass portholes and the rope work and the quirky little features that it has, but you're also surrounded by stunning views and nature. It's just so wonderful. I really do feel like I've stepped back in time. So I'm just in the bridge on the Danny and I'm about to talk to the captain, Tony.
I've been working on the tugs since the early 80s. Took a gap in between when we got finished on the Manchester Ship Canal. I've been back on the Danny now for the past, getting on for 6 years. Worked my way up to skipper, so I've had my skipper certificate for 3 years now.
Do you love it?
I do love it, yeah. We all love it. We're all volunteers, so we have to love it. Yeah.
And that's just a little bit of a reminder as well that all the crew on here, from the engineers, the boiler dudes, the what they call firemen,
Trimmers.
the trimmers, the everyone, even the captains, are all volunteers. And what a wonderful boat this is.
What's your ears, Ian?
Yeah, go on.
Did that work?
That's a better one.
So I have just been below deck and the woodwork and everything, it's absolutely stunning. So I'm going to talk to Eddie now to tell us a little bit about it.
Hang on, it's me head, all right, lads. Well, the saloon is an highlight of the boat. So during the restoration, they found this piece of wood with oceanic on it. Now that was being built at Camel Heads in around the early 1930s to go for the White Line. So we know the woodwork from the oceanic was built into this in 1936.
So the interior on this was actually built for a cruise liner, but because that never got built, then it ended up here on the Danny. So it's all quite complicated really if you think about it, because the people in the boiler room and the engine room, they can't see what's going on at all. They're not looking at all this beautiful scenery and looking ahead. No, so they take all their instructions from those dials that we saw earlier. So the captain on the bridge will put the signal down, they'll see the dials change, and then they work accordingly and press the levers and stuff. So it's a full team that keep this Danny moving. Yeah, madness. Wonderful as well to be part of. So the Daniel Adamson mainly runs between May and end of September, although they might do the odd October one. But the good thing about it is you can come on various different trips. You can do bits on the Weaver, like I'm doing today, from Sutton Weaver to Acton Bridge. You can even go to Anderton. It also goes along the Ship Canal, so it goes to Manchester and to Liverpool. But it's really worth looking on the website because they do other things as well, like gin cruises, beer cruises. Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's a really lovely afternoon or morning out. And remember, it's all run by volunteers, so any money you pay to come on here all goes straight into the restoration and upkeep of the Danny. So this is Linda with a Y, apparently, and she's one of the passengers on the boat today, and she's sporting here a lovely Danny hat. Did you get that on the boat?
I won it in a raffle on the boat 2 years ago, Heidi.
Oh.
No expense spared.
So this is your second time, and you're coming again?
To do the Sutton Weaver through Marsh Lock onto the Manchester Ship Canal, through the Runcorn Bridges and back to the National Waterways Museum in Ellesmere Port.
So you're a bit of a fan then?
I am. Love being on the water.
And what would you say to anybody that felt like doing this trip?
Get it booked, get on here, get sailing.
So we're just coming up now to Dutton Lock, and we're going through the really big one. Yeah, and I just want to show you this little bell here. This is from the original
1903.
1903, so let's give it a bit of a... I'll get told off. Anyway, it's last orders. So Dutton Lock is just coming up now, and for those that don't know, the purpose of locks is to allow boats to climb up or down hills. And they do this by filling the lock with water to raise the boat or to empty the lock and lower the boat. We're going to be going up in the lock, so they're shutting the gates now so they can slowly let the water in and the boat will rise up. And once the lock is filled, raising the boat and the water is equalised to that of the rest of the river, they can then open the top gates and the boat can leave the lock. So we've just left Dutton Locks now, and I'm going to be getting off at the next stop, which is Acton Bridge. But it's just been so wonderful being on here, and remember, this boat was going to be scrapped, it's going to be ripped apart, it'd been vandalised, it was an absolute right mess, but somebody came along with £1, bought it, and then with help from lots of volunteers, the National Lottery, the Heritage Fund, it is now this wonderful vessel that we see today. It's just amazing. And combined with the banter and the fun of the wonderful crew here today, the gorgeous weather and the odd beer, I have just had the most fantastic time. And I think it's going to be one of those days that when I'm 104, sat in my nursing home, smelling a wee and sherry and a bit of lavender, I'm going to look back and remember this day. So I'm back in the bridge now. We're about to moor up at Acton Bridge. It's on the horizon just over there. But just a little bit more about this amazing boat. As you know, my boat is about 2'8". This boat is over 9 foot deep. Wow.
Port engine, slow and stern.
So we're currently just turning round before we moor up, and the captain in the bridge is sending his signals down through those dial things and ringing the bells. They can't see out here, they can't see the bank, they can't see the boats, anything, they can't see the canoeists. They are blind and relying on all the instructions from the captain.
Port stern, port.
So that was absolutely fascinating, watching the engine work then whilst the captain was giving all his instructions and the engineers pressing the right things. But we're all moored up now, we're going to be leaving, but wow, what a fantastic experience this has been. Have you enjoyed it?
Lovely.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's been brilliant, hasn't it?
Fantastic. Definitely do it again.
Yeah. We've had good weather, haven't we, as well?
Oh, yeah.
And the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Need the bar.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've got to come and do this. It's just wonderful.
No problem. Glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
So after an amazing day aboard the Daniel Adamson, the Danny, I'm now back aboard my own boat, the Rum Wench. But if you do want to know a little bit more about Daniel Adamson, the person, then I did cover a little bit of detail about him when I did the Manchester Ship Canal a few weeks ago. I'll put a link in the description or here somewhere, so you can go and watch that one. Anyway, now we're back, it's rum time. So this one is another special one from Captain Glenn. It's a pirate grog, it's a coffee one. And whilst I am pouring this, just a massive thank you to this week's pirate crew. Thank you for everything you do. So here we go, just a little tin of rum. So cheers everyone, woohoo! goodness, that is really tasty and absolutely gorgeous. And what a perfect way to end this video. So if you have enjoyed it, please do give me a big thumbs up. It really helps. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, if you want to see more of this sort of stuff. Absolutely free to do. And also, please share my Facebook page, share my Instagram, share the YouTube. That really helps me out a lot. And leave a comment. So that's it, guys. So please take care, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. And also, not forgetting my lovely, gorgeous, wonderful patrons.